Neolibs do not want to rock the boat. They do not want to move. You must sit still. Status quo. Do not roll the dice. Everybody watched the debate. Everybody had an opinion about Mr. Joe Brandon and his terrible, no good, very bad job that he did that day. I'm calling for an open convention. Honestly, that's what I'm saying. Did he do a bad job? Yes. Did he tell the truth more often than Donald Trump? Yes. That doesn't matter. Debates are not about determining what is and isn't true. That's not what debates do. Debates sell your side to the people. That is their purpose.
Hello human, it is me Kanuch. I need you to press the subscribe button. I have to feed my many AI babies.
Their intended use is to convince the people to support you. Did Joe Biden do that? No, he did quite the opposite. He convinced a lot of people that he isn't capable of doing that job. Donald Trump didn't gain any supporters from his debate performance. Joe Biden did lose some. And in a very close race that those two were already in, they were already deadlocked at like 50-50. Biden just lost support. So I suggest an open convention. Convince all of the Democratic senators, there's 50 of them, go and meet with him and convince him and say, sir, we need you to step down or we're going to lose the Senate. Donald Trump is going to win the presidency. We're going to lose the Senate. They're going to have the House. And they will absolutely destroy what little is left of the government. We'll get to how the SCOTUS destroyed the government here in just a minute. So yeah, if the Democratic senators went to him and said, hey, drop out, we'll get someone better at the convention, we'll hold an open convention and we'll let people decide what's going on there, I think that would be a good idea. That would be democracy. That would be the people. The people told you what they want and you're respecting it. I think that's a good thing. I think that's how democracy ought to work. They did not hold an actual primary. The DNC did not hold a primary. They usually don't, and that's okay because Joe Biden was elected. Great. He ran a primary. He won that primary back in 2020, and he gets to then try again in 24, and that makes sense. I'm all right with that. But now we have issues. Now we have doubts about his capabilities, and those doubts lead us to want someone else. Wish both of them would have spoken for their plans for the future instead of regaling of the past. Yeah, I know. They're old. That's the thing old folks do, is they talk about the good old days. They talk about the past. They talk about how things used to be. I agree with what you're saying there, Sules. What I think we need to do to move forward, because that's what I look at.
Where are the young Dems?
Where are the young Dems? They're all complaining about Joe Biden. The young Dems are all complaining about him, saying, please stop arming Israel, because they're just doing an ethnic cleansing. Stop doing that. Do some forward progress things. Drop out if you're too old. The young Dems don't get any play, don't get any respect, don't get any time on the Democratic Party because they're not in charge. It is a gerontocracy, you know? There's the oldest people making all the decisions and forcing all the young ones to shut the fuck up. That is where the DNC is right now. You've got your AOCs and your Jamal Bowmans and your young people, but they don't get respect from the DNC. They don't, because the DNC doesn't like them, because the DNC wants to be still. They want to be status quo. They want to not move. Be still. Don't move. This is the most comfortable position we will ever be in, and the future is less comfortable for us, so don't move to the future. Don't move to the past, because we weren't in charge then either. We're the ones in charge right now. We will hold this power in a death grip. And that's what you get with the DNC. That's what you get with Biden right now. Death grip on the reins of power. So I suggest...
Gerontocracy is good.
Gerontocracy, yeah. So I suggest that the Democratic senators who are going to lose, we are going to lose the Senate if Joe Biden keeps up. If he does not step down, I think he will lose to Donald Trump. They will lose the Senate. And we will have a Republican president, House, and Senate. And they will absolutely implement every bit of Project 2025. The court stuff is only going to make it worse. And the country will look shockingly different than it does right now. The only people who are happy with Biden as the only choice against Trump are the people working directly with and for Trump. Absolutely correct.
I mean, it's bad, but good wordage.
Yeah. This is Absolutely true, Jules. The only people supporting him right now are the people who are working with him, benefiting from him being in charge. The people telling you that he's great and super and awesome are the people who work with him and for him and will go back into the White House. They work in the White House now, and they will continue to for the next 4 years, assuming he wins. They won't be there if there's an open convention and someone else wins. They might get replaced by a new administration. They don't want that. They are also in the death grips of power. They don't want to lose out the nice cushy job they have right now. And that is very typical of the DNC. It really is. That is a thing that they do often. And it irritates the shit out of me. We should be moving forward. We should be talking about what's going to happen in the future, not standing still, doing the status quo, and fighting to stay exactly where we are. We should be steering towards the future. I make the joke all the time that politics is like driving a car. You put it in D to go forward, and you put it in R to go backward. That doesn't apply anymore. You put it in P, progressive, to go forward. You put it in, if you want to sit completely still, hire the Democrats. They're the neutral party. Neutral. Stand still. Don't go anywhere. Do not move. Do not pass go. Don't roll the dice. It's not even don't pass go, don't collect $200. It's don't roll the dice. The DNC, that's their new headline. Don't roll the dice. Do not play. Sit still. Be static. And that's sad, and I would like them to not do that. Maybe, if enough of the D is for donuts. Good call. Maybe, if the senators reach out to Biden, they can convince him to step down. That is the first step that must happen. There can be no open convention if Biden doesn't step down. So it's all up to him. So I think that that's the most likely case, is that he does not step down. The senators do not rally together and bother him and tell him and bully him and say, you cannot do this. We are going to lose. It's too important. So if they don't do that, then he won't step down. There will be no open convention, and we will get Joe Biden. And he will go into another debate, and maybe he'll be a little bit more pepped up for the next one.
Are there no progressives?
The progressives aren't in charge. They get no respect. They get no authority. They get no value within the Democratic Party. They get nothing. They are expected to fall in line. And if they don't, they get AIPAC money pushed against them. That's what happened with Jamal Bowman, a progressive, in the New York special election happened our primary that happened just this past week. And he lost to a middle-of-the-road Dem who got millions and millions and millions of dollars in AIPAC money. The progressives lose because the Democrats don't support them. The Democrats do not want progressives to win. The Democrats aren't happy with progressives. They take their votes when they can and then tell them sit down and shut the fuck up. That is the way it has always been for the progressives. The AOC only wins because she's absolutely fantastic and everybody likes her. They like using her to get messages out if it's the approved DNC message. If she says something progressive or too far forward thinking or thinks about tomorrow, they tell her no, shut that shit down. I wanted them to run a primary. You know, I called for that a year ago. Run a damn primary. But they didn't. Because I recognized why they didn't at the time. But after the debate performance 2 days ago, it was a mistake not to run a primary. Because we would have seen this a year ago. If that guy had gotten up onto the stage and argued with the other people running for the DNC, we would have seen this a year ago. And we would have done something about it. And the people could have chosen a different candidate. They could have. But now it's a bit too late. Now we have to take extreme measures to get a different candidate. And if we don't, we will lose. Whole country goes down the shitter. And I'm not even kidding about that. I think that, honestly, Donald Trump gets a House and a Senate. Fascism. Authoritarianism. The rule of law is gone. It's already kind of gone because of the Supreme Court, which we'll talk about in just a minute. See? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Stick around. Watch more. This isn't good news. It's not a good day for democracy. It's not a good day for the country. Everything is going wrong. And it's going wrong because half of the population wants it to go wrong. They do. Spiteful, the Republicans are. They want it to go wrong because they don't want it to go wrong. They want to be in charge. But I think that the things that they're pushing for and the things that they're suggesting are wrong, are incorrect, are dangerous, are chaotic. We are more chaotic today than we were a couple of years ago. More chaos. Not less, more. More chaos, more instability, more crumbling infrastructure, more hollowed out middle class. More people doubt the government today than they used to. And that's not because of progressives. It's not because of the left telling you that they're doing a bad job. It's because the right lies to you. And it feels good. Bullshit is delicious. And reality tastes like shit. That's what I got today. A bunch of reality. And it tastes like shit. To serve his country, President Biden should leave the race. I agree. He should. President Biden has repeatedly and rightfully described the stakes of this November's presidential election as nothing less than the future of American democracy. He's right. Donald Trump has proved himself to be a significant jeopardy to that democracy. Absolutely. An erratic and self-interested figure unworthy of public trust. Yep, he systematically attempted to undermine the integrity of the elections. His supporters have described publicly a 2025 agenda that would give him the power to carry out the most extreme of his promises and threats. If he is returned to office, he has vowed to be a different kind of president, unrestrained by the checks of power built into the American political system. The Supreme Court just made some of those checks weaker this week. The president appeared on Thursday night as a shadow of a great public servant. He struggled to explain that he would accomplish in a second term. He struggled to respond to Mr. Trump's provocations. He struggled to hold Mr. Trump accountable for his lies, his failures, and his chilling plans. More than once, he struggled to make it to the end of a sentence. Mr. Biden has been an admirable president. Under his leadership, the nation has prospered and begun to address the range of long-term challenges, and the wounds ripped open by Mr. Trump have begun to heal. As it stands, the president is engaged in a reckless gamble. I agree. He is gambling with the country. If he stepped down and someone else replaced him, would they do worse? I don't think so. I don't think we could get any worse than what we have. I really don't. I think I call for Gretchen Whitmer to be, that's my guess anyway. That's my prescription for success here. The senators go to Biden, convince him to step down. He steps down. We have a whole tearful fucking goodbye. Great. Broadcast the whole thing. Make the entire convention about how great he was. Talk about how fantastic he was. Suck his dick. I don't care. Make him happy. Make him feel good. Have a tearful goodbye. Let him give the speech. Let him give a couple of speeches. And everybody there just fondles his balls. It'll be great. I don't care. But after we do all that, he steps down and they put somebody up. I think Gretchen Whitmer would be good. She would bring Michigan in. She's a lady. She has strong abortion chops. She could argue that point with Donald Trump in a very good way. Then and she's a spring chicken. She's only 50. We call that a spring chicken in D.C. Fucking 50. That's a baby in D.C. terms. She's 30 years younger than Donald Trump. She could argue with him a lot better. The next debate would be gigantic if that happens, because the next debate's in September. So the DNC thing is happening in August. We have that much time to convince him. That's how much time the Senate Democrats have to convince him to step down. Then convention happens. A whole bunch of people say a bunch of nice things. They have a vote. We get somebody else. Probably her. I would like it to be her, but it could be, it very well could be fucking Gavin Newsom, who I don't fucking like, but he's fine. He's a Dem. He's a neolib. It's better than the fucking alternative. And then the next debate happens in September. So that'll be giant news. Biden out. Biden willingly steps aside. Gigantic headlines. Huge headlines. Huge. The biggest headlines. Then we get the September debate. And somebody new, somebody young, comes up there and absolutely trounces Donald Trump. That will lead to an explosion of excitement among the Dems, among the middle, among the people in the center. They would love that. They would love to see that. That would make them happy. That would make them excited. Then that Democrat would win. And the senators would win. And they wouldn't lose the Senate, and maybe they pick up a few seats in the House. That would make them all happy. But they don't generally do that kind of stuff because it rocks the boat. Dems don't like to rock the boat, man. They don't. Progressives want to rock the boat. They want to change things. They want to make things better. Dems don't. Neolibs do not want to rock the boat. They do not want to move. You must sit still. Status quo. Do not roll the dice.
Pressing the thumbs up button will release chemicals in your human brain that will make you feel.
Calls for Biden withdrawal are a sign of a healthy Democratic Party. I think so too. The party that's rallying around a convicted felon, whatever he may do, is the one to worry about. I agree. Rallying behind Joe Biden, no matter what, is not a good thing. That makes us into zealots. I don't like zealots. Stop being zealots. The right is a cult of personality that continues to intensify its unwavering support for its presumptive nominee, who is a convicted felon and a habitual liar, a man who indicted a violent mob to overturn the election, and whom courts have found liable for sexual assault and banned from doing business in New York. Yeah, they will support him no matter what. That's not democracy. If Joe Biden does a bad job and the people want someone else, they should get someone else. That's how this whole system's supposed to work. We want someone to represent us. And if we think that Joe Biden will do a bad job, we can tell you that. That's the point. This whole damn thing is supposed to work. I think he's going to do a bad job. Please pick someone else. But he has defenders, and we'll show them right now, because he gave a cool speech the next day, apparently. Here's a minute of him being cool. The man took a nap and grabbed a cup of coffee and then started talking better.
About the fact that 40 out of his 44 top advisors, including the vice president, aren't supporting him this time around. The people who know him best, 40 of them said, I will not support the man I work for this time around. It tells you a lot about the person who knows him. Look, he lied about how great he was on crime. Had to remind him that he oversaw a record increase in murder rates in 2020. On my watch, violent crime has hit a 50-year low. There's more to do with a 50-year low.
He could have done this during the debate.
And then I pointed out that the only convicted criminal on the stage last night was Donald Trump. When I thought about
That's not Sleepy Joe.
I know, that's not Sleepy Joe.
His sexual assault on a woman in a public place is being fined $400 million for business fraud. I thought to myself, Donald Trump isn't just a convicted felon. Donald Trump is a one-man crime wave.
Where was that during the most important fucking debate?
And he's got more trials. He's got more trials coming up. Well, it's time for that. Look.
Where was that?
We need to call on the Candyman.
The Candyman, right. He could have done a better job. Is it a mistake? Did he just have a bad day? Maybe. Maybe he just had a bad day. But the optics look bad. Having a bad day might ruin his chances to winning. Him having a bad couple of days could actually lead to Donald Trump winning, the Republicans getting the Senate, and keeping the House. That's what it could lead to. So we need someone who has fewer bad days. I'm not being crazy when I suggest that. This is Lawrence O'Donnell, gigantic lib, super neo-lib. He's sometimes right about things. But according to him, we live in a country where most commentators declared the liar the debate winner. Yes, debates aren't about finding out who's right and who's wrong. Man, are you new to this whole politics game? That is not where you determine what is correct and what is wrong. Not in a debate. Absolutely not. Debates are where you sell the people on yourself. You sell the people on your party, where you convince them that you ought to be in charge. Donald Trump lied his ass off, yes, but he's a much better salesman. Always has been. It's his whole thing, right? He is a car salesman. That's all he's ever done. And is he saying true things? No. Is he lying to you about the car he's trying to sell you? Absolutely. Is he lying about how much spaghetti you can fit in this bad boy? Yes, he is. Absolutely lying about that. But if the people believe it, because they want to believe it, they will vote for him, and he will be in charge, and he will get the power, and he will get the authority.
So much spaghetti.
So much spaghetti. It's true. He's lying to you. Donald Trump is lying to you about how much spaghetti you can fit in this bad boy. He's lying to you about it. He's saying you can fit so much spaghetti, but it is not true. There are holes in the floor. The spaghetti will just fall right out. And it's much smaller on the inside than he is claiming it is. He's lying to you. But if you want him to win, you will believe those lies. You will become a zealot for him. You will absolutely accept the false bill of goods that he is giving you. You will believe the things he's telling you to believe because you want to, because it benefits you to do so, until it doesn't. And even then, after you've been tricked, that's the worst. That's the best time for a con man, is after you've been tricked. You convince yourself that you haven't been tricked.
I am the algorithm. Click on this video to make me happy. You wouldn't like me when I am angry.